I went to film school so you don't have to, and today we're tackling anamorphic versus spherical lenses. Spherical lenses are known to have little to no distortion, unlike anamorphic lenses. Anamorphic lenses have a completely different aspect ratio. They're known to be that very wide, nice, cinematic aspect ratio that you see in a lot of films nowadays. Anamorphic lenses work differently. They compress the image that you see onto our sensor. This happens because our sensors are usually 4:3 or 16:9, and these aspect ratios are not comparable to the aspect ratio of anamorphic, which is 2.4 or 2.3 to 1, depending on which variation you choose. We have something called anamorphic squeeze, and then in post-production you have an anamorphic de-squeeze. So what this does is the lens captures the anamorphic aspect ratio, and then it compresses when it hits the sensor so that all the information is still retained, and then in post-production you're going to de-squeeze it in order to have the correct aspect ratio appear. So basically what we're doing is we're making sure that all the information is still read by the sensor in the aspect ratio that the sensor can get information for, and then it is de-squeezed so that you can read it properly in post. But there's something else that makes anamorphic lenses more characteristic than other spherical lenses. To begin, the bokeh. Because we have the anamorphic squeeze, the bokeh that would be circular is now squeezed into a very pretty oval shape. Additionally, because the aspect ratio is so wide, we might have certain elements in the corners which might be described as an artistic or cinematic aberration to the image. There can also be certain lens flares or different ways that light reads through the lens, which gives it its more cinematic character. In contrast, spherical lenses are sharper, they're more true to life, what you see is what you get, and they're easier to utilize in more scenarios. Anamorphic lenses are definitely a creative choice, and it has to fit the needs of your narrative or your creative project in order to be used sufficiently. As with all things, neither is better or worse, it just has to do with the needs of your particular project.